All right, so let's go ahead and start with the unit 4.3, talking about doing the right thing. So first, let's make sure you have this vocabulary for decisions, okay? So match the phrases with phrases which have similar meanings. So let me read these phrases to you. To take all things into consideration, to spend some time thinking it through, be faced with a dilemma, and to weigh up the pros and cons. And the British like to add the up here. Americans would just say weigh the pros and cons without up. All right. So which of those phrases do you think is the same as be in a predicament?
What, Mr. Michael?
So we have these four phrases here on page 50, part 1A. And one of these phrases matches one of these. So here we have part A.
Three. I
Good,
think three.
good. To be in a predicament, and to be faced with a dilemma mean the same thing. And what do you think that means in simple words?
Faced with a problem.
Good. To be faced
To
with
be
a
in a
problem.
conflict.
Good. And some kind of, especially a conflict, you don't know which way or which decision to make. Good. How about letter B. Consider the benefits and drawbacks.
Four.
4.
Good. Weigh up the pros and cons, or weigh the pros and cons. How about to bear these points in mind?
One.
Number one.
One.
Good. Spend some time thinking it through. Maybe. Good. It could be. How about assess the situation?
One.
Oh, sorry. I read that wrong. Sorry, guys. So C, to bear these points in mind means to take all these things into consideration and
Yes.
assess the situation, spend time thinking it through. Good. So take a minute, make sure you have those answers, and we'll try to use those phrases in
Mr. Michael,
yes.
regarding the assignments, there's a question just popped up my head.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Okay. For the podcast thing, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't lucky to find metaphors,
Mm-hmm. All
so
right.
I had to improvise and look for something familiar or close to metaphors in the broadcast.
All right. We
So
can
what
talk
will
about that
happen?
after class. I'll let
Okay,
you know
okay,
after class. All
okay.
right. So we're going to use these phrases from A to D. So be in a predicament, consider the benefits and drawbacks, to bear these points in mind, and to assess the situation. So I want to start with Zaid, then go to Tala, then go to Yasmin, and finally go to Hamza Ayede. And see if you can put the right phrase into the right blank.
Okay. You are in predicament. 4 friends buy you a lottery ticket for your birthday. The following week, you win 100,000 with the ticket. Your friends think you should share the winnings with them. Okay, shall I
Good.
continue?
Nope, that's perfect right there. Okay. So Tala, what do you think?
Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's you have to assess the situation, but
That's
I'm not
right. Good.
sure.
You can say that. You have to assess the situation. Okay. So then Yasmin.
Number two,
Mm-hmm.
your friends think you should share the winnings with them. You have maybe to bear these points in mind.
Sorry, number 3.
Three or
Yasmin.
two?
3.
Oh, okay. You have tired. Um, assess. No, is it this one, right?
I think that what you said before.
To be in a predicament.
Nope, the first one's to be in a predicament. You're in a predicament. Okay. You have to bear these points in mind. So then you've tried. Oh, sorry. You have to. You have assessed the situation for number 2. So then number 3, you have tried.
To bear these points in mind.
Good. You have tried to bear these points in mind. Good. And then keep reading until you get down to money here.
You have to bear these points in mind, how long you have been friends, how much your friends need the money, whether you should share the winnings equally, and whether you think whether you think your friendship will survive if you keep all the money.
Okay, good. And Hamza, will you finish us off?
Now you have considered the benefits and drawbacks. You need to make your decision.
Excellent. Okay, good. Now, the way we know that number 3 was you have to bear these points in mind. You have tried to bear these points in mind is because now they start to list all the points. Okay. Good. Everyone got that. Any questions about those phrases? Okay, now we get to talk about the interesting part of this. The grammar and the vocab is not so interesting, but the idea is a little bit interesting. So let's see. Laith, are you with us? Let's see who's here. Waleed, are you here? Iskander?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Iskander.
Yeah.
Let's say you're in this situation. Okay?
Okay.
So 4 friends bought you a lottery ticket for your birthday and you won $100,000, 100,000 euros.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Gonna share it.
Hmm?
Gonna share it with everyone.
You'll share it equally?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So.
All right. Well, that sounds nice.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
That's fair. Good.
I kill them all. I keep the money to myself. I don't know.
You're changing your mind all of a sudden? All right. Who else? What would you do? Rod?
So I would take like 50% for myself and the other 50% share it equally between them.
Okay.
Because it was my birthday gift.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so you get a little extra because it was for you after all, your gift.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anybody else? All right, let's move on then. We're going to talk about hypothetical preference, okay? So let's read this true story and see what happens. Who would like to read?
I can.
Go ahead, Saif. Thank you.
Super Gran bashes burglars. A 70-year-old grandmother became a heroine, and with just a shopping bag, she defied 6 hammer-wielding jewelry thieves on motorbikes. Ann Thompson was talking to a woman on the street when she heard a commotion.
Right?
Right? Okay. She looked across the road and saw 6 men smashing the windows of a jewelry store in broad daylight. Seeing that, other
Bystanders.
bystanders were doing nothing, Miss Simpson decided to act. She dashed across the road and started to hit one of the robbers with her shopping bag. He fell off his motorbike and was pinned down by several members of the public before the police arrived. Amazingly, all this was captured on film by a freelance cameraman who happened to be nearby. The footage became a YouTube sensation. Asked later if she saw herself as a hero, Miss Simpson said no, but somebody had to do something. It turns out that Miss Simpson has been doing something for years. She has confronted drug dealers and other criminals before, putting her own safety at risk in order to aid the community. Although she does not generally believe that the public should take on robbers, it's dangerous, she says. Her actions have inspired others and made it at least a few would-be thieves think again.
Excellent. Good job, Safe. Especially, I liked it when you went to what the woman was saying, her quote. You changed your voice and even your lexical chunking there to make it match. That was great. All right, let's look here. Who can summarize in 1 or 2 sentences what happened?
Um,
Um, can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. This lady has stopped robbery by hitting one of the robbers by her shopping bag.
With her shopping bag.
And a freelance photographer shot just filmed her, and she became a YouTube famous.
Good. She became
But
famous on YouTube.
when they asked her if she sees herself as a hero or not, she said no, because she did this before. She was confronting other criminals before.
Okay, great. Nice job, Hamza.
Mr.
All
Michael,
right. Yes.
I read something amazing about her also. They did a whole animation series about a grandma that fights criminals and has superpowers and whatsoever, based
Wow,
on
they
her story.
based on her. Wow. Is it available on YouTube?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, we'll have to post that on your page so you guys can see it. I did see the actual video of her. Does anybody want to watch the actual video of her bashing the burglars?
yeah, sure.
Yes,
You
please.
have it, yes.
I'm sure it's on here. Let's see. Grandma bashes burglar. Here we go. All right, hopefully the buffering won't be too bad. Let me make sure you guys can hear. All right, I'm going to start it over. Let me know if it's not coming up on your screen.
It seemed like a well-planned smash and grab job. 6 thieves, 3 waiting getaway motorbikes, 2 sledgehammers, and a window full of bling. But they hadn't planned on one granny with an attitude. Ann Timpson is the name of the lady in the red coat, 70-plus years of petulant pensioner, charging into the would-be robbers like an avenging angel with a handbag. They never stood a chance.
It's amazing. I mean, it's very courageous what she's done, but there's 6 very dangerous men out there with hammers, and she's made a beeline for them and put them off what they were doing.
She says she first thought it was a gang beating somebody up. When she realized it was a robbery, she really got mad. 2 sledgehammers versus 1 grumpy granny's handbag, no contest. 2 of the robbers fled in such panic they fell off their bike. Finally, onlookers who had stood by in shock moved in. 4 of the 6 were arrested, and the handbag heroine was led away for a cup of tea.
We were all shaking from head to our foot. She was more concerned whether we were okay more than the other way around.
Ann Timpson was fine and wants nothing more, she says, than her quiet life back. No interviews, no fame. Although she did tell a local paper she'd do the same thing again. Mark Phillips, CBS News, London.
All right.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine your grandmother
She's
doing
fearless.
I can't imagine
Yeah,
myself
with my
doing
head,
that.
maybe.
that? You can't even imagine yourself. Me either. All right, now there are a couple of nice metaphors in the video. So one, they said that she made a beeline towards the robbers. So make a beeline, that means you go directly towards something. And then another metaphor they had on there, they said it was no contest. So what do you think that means? It was no contest.
No, they didn't have a chance against her.
Exactly. Nice aid. They didn't have a chance. Okay. Good. All right. So let's listen to 2 people discussing this story. Okay. And here are some more expressions that I want you to pay attention to. Have a go hero. When push comes to shove, jump on the bandwagon. I take my hat off to her. I probably leg it. I do my bit. Okay, so listen for those, and if you can guess the meanings from what they say.
Unit 4, Recording 5.
So you see that thing on the news about that 70-year-old grandmother who stopped the jewel thieves.
The one, yeah, who knocked one of them off their bike,
Yeah.
off the motorbike. That was amazing.
Wasn't it extraordinary? And they were robbing this jewel store and smashing the windows.
Yeah, and she just
nobody
came
was doing
up and
anything about it.
completely hit them straight over the head with a massive great handbag.
With a shopping bag
or something.
full of, I don't know, beans or something.
Cans of beans. Yeah.
But, I mean, would you do that in that situation?
If it was up to me, I think I would probably be too cowardly and I'd end up just calling the police, I'm afraid to say.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you know, if I ever find myself in that situation, I would like to think that I would be, you know, a have-a-go hero as well. But push come to shove, whether or not you actually do it or not is another question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
the fact is that it's dangerous.
how many were there? 6 of them she took on?
Something like that, yeah.
That really is.
And she knocked one of them off the scooter. And then, it was only then that all the other passers-by came and, you know,
jumped
landed
on
on
the
him.
bandwagon. Yes.
But she'd done the whole thing.
No, you have to. I completely take my hat off to her for that, because that is truly heroic to just charge in there. But no way would I do that. I just can't see. I own up to cowardice. I would be ringing someone.
Well, a friend of mine said that he thought it was absolutely completely stupid, totally wrong thing to do. I said no. I thought that if more people, you know, were like that, you'd have a better society.
Yeah. The thing is, as you said before, I don't know. I think it has to be one of those instantaneous reactions. You either don't think about the consequences and you pile in and you do what you can, or as soon as you hesitate, I think you're lost.
Yeah.
Really. And
I think, to be absolutely honest, that if it was up to me in the same situation, I'd probably leg it.
Really? Yes. Well, I think I'd probably do my bit by calling the police.
All right, so lots of nice phrases here. What do you think a have-a-go hero is?
When someone ordinary fights, intervenes in a problem or something like that.
Good, Hamza. I think that's an excellent definition. That's a very British saying. Americans would never say have a go hero, but if you're ever in Australia or England or Ireland, they probably say that. All right, how about when push comes to shove?
When shit gets real.
Okay, good. That's another way to say it. Good. What does that mean?
When things get worse.
Okay. And kind of like when it actually happens. So it's one thing to say what you would do, but then when it actually happens, that's when push comes to shove. Now, that is a very common phrase even in America. How about jump on the bandwagon?
What does bandwagon means?
Literally, bandwagon is probably... so in the old days before cars, they would have horses and wagons, and a bandwagon is probably when there were a bunch of wagons together.
Okay, so jumped on the wagons. I guess they used that to describe her when she attacked the robbers.
Not quite. They described everyone else afterwards. They said that they jumped on the bandwagon.
I think bandwagon is when bands and some orchestra were playing music on a wagon before.
It's possible, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So then they would all come together at the same time. But what do you think how do we use it nowadays?
So jumped on the wagon, jumped on the bandwagon, right? Jumped on the bandwagon, sorry. They said it when pedestrians went to catch out the robbers.
Like they followed her lead.
Good, exactly. So when you jump on the bandwagon, that means you start doing what everyone else is already doing. Okay, so imagine a sports team. Nobody really likes the sports team, but then they start winning, and then everyone starts liking them, and then more people start liking them because somebody else likes them. So they're all jumping on the bandwagon. It's doing what everyone else is doing. How about I take my hat off to her?
Giving admiration.
Good. Giving admiration, respect. Excellent. I'd probably leg it.
I wouldn't do anything.
Run quickly.
Good. Run away, probably. And to do your bit.
Do your share or report.
Okay. And to do their own necessary part. Good. All right. Let's see the Pearson
question related to point 2. Doesn't push here means a plant or something?
No, that's a bush with a B. A push is when you use your hands to against someone and get them out of the way. So not bush, but push. So let me show you here the difference. So, oh, not George Bush. here's Bush, right? Okay, and then the word push. Okay, I don't know if they'll have any good images or not for this. Oh, here we go. Push. Okay. And then shove.
So, Mr. Michael, how is it related to push comes to shove?
So shove is like a really big push. So when you shove someone, you're really pushing them hard. So when push comes to shove, it's like saying, you know how you might push someone and then nothing happens, but then if they get angry, they might turn around and shove you. So it's sort of like all of a sudden something really real is going to happen. So be careful what you do. But the metaphorical meaning that we care about when push comes to shove means when something actually happens or starts to get real. Let's see if Pearson gives us some nice definitions here that are easy to understand. Sorry.
Mr.
Okay.
Michael,
Uh-huh.
I have for 5 minutes.
Okay, no problem. So have a go hero, someone who gets involved when a crime occurs and tries to stop the criminals. Okay, just like Hamza said. When push comes to shove is when you're faced with a reality rather than just a story. Jump on the bandwagon to do or support what everyone else is doing because it's fashionable. Take your hat off to respect her, run away, and to do your bit to do what is expected of you. Okay, so some nice phrases to add to your list of expressions to make you sound a little bit more fluent. Okay, and then when you're talking about your hypothetical preference, there are lots of nice phrases to use. You could say, if it was up to me, I would, or I'd sooner, which means that's your preference. So I might say, I'd sooner have classes in the university than online. So that just basically means I would prefer, I'd sooner. And then notice the way that I said it, I'd sooner do this than do something else. So we'd say the then for the second part. And this is the same meaning. I just as soon do something as something else. So both of those phrases mean the exact same thing, but two different ways to say it. Given the choice, I would. If I ever found myself in that situation, I would. Far better to do this than to do that. So far better to run away than to risk your life, you might say. This would be by far the best option. My preference would be to, without a shadow of a doubt, I would. Okay, so without a shadow of a doubt means certainly, for sure. And then no way would I means for sure you wouldn't do it. So no way would I. So let's listen one more time quickly, and you're going to listen this time for these phrases as well, and make sure that you can recognize how to use them properly.
Unit 4.
It's only 2 minutes.
Recording 5.
So you see that thing on the news about that 70-year-old grandmother who stopped the jewel thieves.
The one, who knocked one of them off their bike, the motorbike. That was amazing.
Wasn't it extraordinary? And they were robbing this jewels store and smashing the windows.
Yeah, and she just
nobody
came
was doing
up and
anything about it.
completely hit them straight over the head with a massive great handbag.
With a shopping bag
or something.
full of, I don't know, beans or something.
Cans of beans. Yeah.
But, I mean, would you do that? in that situation?
If it was up to me, I think I would probably be too cowardly, and I'd end up just calling the police. I'm afraid to say.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, if I ever found myself in that situation, I would like to think that I would be, a have-a-go hero as well. But push come to shove, whether or not you actually do it or not is another question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
the fact is that it's dangerous.
how many were there? 6 of them she took on.
Something like that, yeah.
That really is.
And she knocked one of them off the scooter. And then, it was only then that all the other passers-by came and,
jumped
landed
on the
on him.
bandwagon. Yes.
But she'd done the whole
No,
thing.
you have to. I completely take my hat off to her for that, because that is truly heroic to just charge in there. But no way would I do that. I just can't see. I own up to cowardice. I would be ringing someone.
Well, a friend of mine said that he thought it was absolutely completely stupid, totally wrong thing to do. I said no. I thought that if more people, were like that, you'd have a better society.
Yeah, the thing is, as you said before, I don't know. I think it has to be one of those instantaneous reactions. You either don't think about the consequences and you pile in and you do what you can, or as soon as you hesitate, I think you're lost.
Yeah.
Really. And
I think, to be absolutely honest, that if it was up to me in the same situation, I'd probably leg it.
Really, yes. Well, I think I'd probably do my bit by calling the police.
Okay. Any questions? No questions? All right.
I have a question, sorry.
Yes.
The last one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get back to it?
Sure.
No
way would I.
No way would I. Can't we say it? No way I would.
Yes, you can, especially if you start with the there is no way I would. Or you could say no way would I. No way would I do that. There's no way I would do that. Yep. They're
So
both
no
okay.
difference. Okay.
Nope, same meaning. Both correct. All right, let's see if you guys can actually use these now. All right, so rewrite the sentences so the meaning stays the same. Use the words in brackets. You should weigh up the pros and cons rather than deciding now. So you could say, far better to weigh up the pros and cons than to decide now. Okay, how about up to? Which of the two candidates would you choose? Can anybody use the phrase that has up to in there? For those of you with your book, it'll be easier.
Mr. Mikey, can you show us the phrases again?
Uh-huh. So, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you guys because some of you don't have your books, so it's like going back and forth. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and a screenshot of the questions, and I'm going to put them onto your Microsoft Teams class page, and you guys can solve them later at home. Let's move on to learning how to add emphasis. Okay. So, when we want to emphasize something, what does that mean to emphasize?
To state something.
To make sure something.
Good. To make it a little bit stronger, to make sure of something. Good. So there are some phrases here. We could say it was totally wrong. The fact is, the thing is, to be absolutely honest, or it was completely stupid. So these three words, totally, absolutely, or completely, those are adverbs that we use for emphasis. Okay. You might say, Mr. Michael was totally insistent that we join my English lab this weekend. Did you guys notice I sent a bunch of emails and things? How about this? Expressions before the main verb. What you have to remember is, okay, so you could also say to be, the fact is and the thing is. What you have to remember is. And then other expressions, that's out of the question, no chance, and not on your life. Not on your life means no way. Okay, so just listen to how to say these.
Unit 4, recording 6.
It was totally wrong. To be absolutely honest,
It was completely stupid. What you have to remember is, the fact is, the thing is, that's out of the question. No chance. Not on your life.
Okay, any questions? So it's easy to emphasize when we're writing. We can add italics or underline it. Then everyone knows that it's important. But when we speak, we have to use that intonation, how we say it, to emphasize the same words. So a lot of times we'll use a higher pitch. Sometimes we'll make the sound longer. And when you hear people arguing, persuading, or getting excited, you can definitely hear a difference in how they pronounce the words. Okay. We are going to talk about what you would do. So in your groups, and you should still have the groups on your pages, if you go to your team, and you should have group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you should only have one of those on your page. So I want you to go to your group. One of you guys in your group start a new meeting, and I want you to talk to each other about these things. What would you do? And I'll read them to you if you don't have a book here. Number 1, your friend's husband is supposed to be working late, but you see him in a bar talking in a friendly manner with another woman. You do not know the other woman. She could just be a work colleague. Do you tell your friend what you saw? Okay. You could also talk about number 2, you're in a hurry. You need to send a package urgently, but the post office will close in 2 minutes. There are no parking spaces except in the disabled section of the parking lot. You are not disabled. You think you'll only be there for 5 minutes. So do you go ahead and park in the disabled section? And number 3, a friend of yours stole something. You promise never to reveal this. Soon afterwards, an innocent person is accused of the crime. You tell your friend that she has to own up. She has to confess. She refuses and reminds you of your promise. Is it possible that an innocent person will go to jail? Do you reveal the truth? So go to your groups and start talking about
mean?
accuse. When you accuse someone of the crime, that means that you say that they did it. Okay, so take 5 minutes and discuss this between yourselves in your small groups. And if you need any help, let me know.
Yeah, Mr. Mac, have you added me to a group or not yet?
Skander, let me see. Probably not. I probably skipped you over. Let me see whose groups are the smallest here.